Henrik Ibsen was a famous Norwegian playwright and poet. He is considered one of the greatest writers in the history of literature. Ibsen was born on March 20, 1828, in Skien, a small town in Norway. He grew up in a time when Norway was under the rule of Denmark and later Sweden. This time in history was not easy for Norway, and many people were unhappy with the way the country was being governed. When Ibsen was young, his family was very poor. His father was a merchant who lost all of his money when Ibsen was only a child. The family had to live in difficult conditions. Despite these challenges, Henrik loved to read books and was interested in literature. He decided to study to become a writer. Ibsen did not have much formal education, but he was very determined to learn and improve his writing skills. In his early life, Henrik Ibsen worked in different jobs. He first worked as an assistant at a pharmacy. Later, he moved to the capital city of Norway, Oslo, where he worked as a playwright for a theater company. During this time, Ibsen began writing plays, and he soon became famous for his powerful stories. One of his first successful plays was Brand, 1866. It was about a man named Brand who wanted to make the world a better place. However, his strong beliefs and his demand for perfection led to his downfall. This play showed how people who try to change the world without understanding others can sometimes hurt themselves and the people around them. Another well-known play by Ibsen is Peer Gynt, 1867. This play tells the story of Peer Gynt, a young man who goes on a journey of self-discovery. Throughout the play, Peer tries to avoid responsibility and escape from reality. The play explores themes of identity, dreams, and the consequences of living a life without purpose. Peer Gynt is full of fantasy and poetry, making it one of Ibsen's most imaginative works. Ibsen became even more famous for his later plays, which often dealt with serious social and moral issues. One of his most important plays is A Doll's House, 1879. This play tells the story of Nora, a woman who lives in a comfortable home with her husband, Torvald. Nora seems to have a happy life, but she begins to realize that she is not truly free. She has been treated like a doll by her husband, who sees her as a beautiful object rather than an equal partner. In the end, Nora makes a brave decision to leave her husband and children to find her own identity. A Doll's House shocked many people when it was first performed because it challenged the traditional views of marriage and gender roles. It is still considered one of the most important works of modern drama. Another important play by Ibsen is Ghosts, 1881. In this play, a woman named Mrs. Alving tries to hide the dark secrets of her past. She has a son, Oswald, who is a young man with dreams of becoming an artist. However, the family's past begins to affect their present lives in tragic ways. The play deals with themes of inheritance, illness, and the consequences of living in denial. Ghosts was controversial at the time because it tackled issues like disease, incest, and the moral failures of society. One of Ibsen's most famous works is Hedda Gabler, 1890. The main character, Hedda Gabler, is a complex woman who feels trapped in a marriage to a man she does not love. She is clever, manipulative, and full of frustration. Throughout the play, Hedda tries to control the people around her, but in the end, she makes choices that lead to her downfall. Hedda Gabler explores themes of power, freedom, and the struggle to find happiness. Henrik Ibsen's plays were not always welcomed by society. Many of his works challenged the social norms and values of his time. His plays often question the role of women in society, the structure of families, and the expectations placed on individuals. Because of this, Ibsen faced criticism from many people. However, he also gained a large following of people who admired his courage to speak out about important issues. As Ibsen's career progressed, he continued to write plays that dealt with social, political, and psychological issues. His later plays, such as An Enemy of the People (1882) and The Wild Duck (1884), show his growing concern with corruption, truth, and the nature of human relationships. In An Enemy of the People, Ibsen tells the story of a doctor who discovers that the local water supply is polluted and causes illness. When he tries to warn the public, he is attacked by the people who benefit from the situation. This play deals with the conflict between personal integrity and the pressure of society. By the time Ibsen wrote The Master Builder (1892), he had become one of the most important playwrights in Europe. His works were performed all over the world, and he had a great influence on the development of modern drama. Ibsen's plays are often seen as the beginning of modern realism in theater. Before Ibsen, many plays focused on fairy tales, fantasy, and unrealistic situations. But Ibsen's plays showed real people facing real problems. His characters were complex, and their struggles reflected the challenges of modern life. In the later years of his life, Ibsen continued to write, but his health began to decline. He moved to Italy, where he spent much of his time writing and recovering from illness. Even though he was no longer living in Norway, Ibsen's influence continued to grow. His plays were performed all over the world, and many other playwrights were inspired by his work. Ibsen became a symbol of artistic freedom and the power of the individual to challenge society. Henrik Ibsen died on May 23, 1906, at the age of 78. He left behind a large body of work that continues to be studied and performed today. Ibsen's plays have been translated into many languages and are performed in theaters around the world. His ideas about social issues, the role of women, and the complexities of human relationships are still relevant today. Ibsen's legacy as a writer and thinker has had a lasting impact on the world of literature. His works helped to change the way people think about theater and society. He is remembered not only as a brilliant playwright, but also as a pioneer of modern drama. Today, Ibsen's plays are still performed in theaters, studied in schools, and appreciated by audiences all over the world. His work has stood the test of time, because it continues to speak to the human experience, challenging us to think about who we are and the world we live in. Henrik Ibsen's plays will always be a significant part of world literature, and his influence on modern drama remains strong.